Welcome to Who Put This On, Season 4, Episode 22, where we watch Halloween Wars, Season 9, Episode 1. I'm Chris Lorenz.
Robert Kitts.
Brian Houston.
Noah Singer.
He did the max.
The Monster Max.
The Monster Max. Okay.
Yeah, I was lost on that one, Max.
Thank you, Noah.
All right, Rob, give us the show description for this one.
Just when you thought it was safe to walk past that old house or take a shortcut through the cemetery, comes this deliciously scary series, Halloween Wars.
Ooh.
5 teams of cake decorators, candy makers, and amazing pumpkin carvers will unite to prove they're the best, walk home with a big cash prize, and scare our pants off with some of the most amazing horror tales, all made from cake, candy, and pumpkins. Grab onto someone you love and bring your appetite, because the cold night of Halloween is about to get heated up. That's Halloween Wars on the Food Network.
You can't laugh during the description, Rob. It's
That-
very serious.
That
It's very
description
serious.
was all over the place. I couldn't help it.
Man,
The scariest thing about it is just accidentally biting into pumpkin.
so this is like but we've been doing this format a lot lately. We need to stop.
This is our
I
new
think.
thing.
This is our standard competition reality art show.
Yeah, that's right.
Where-
We've
Yeah.
done so fucking many of these.
This is 6. This is teams though, Max. This is different.
We-
There's teams.
I want to propose a ban for the next 4 episodes on crafting shows.
What about just competition shows in general? Like I feel like
Everything's a competition.
that's
Can,
not true.
Can we
Life's a
quickly
competition.
recap? So we did Making It.
We did Nailed It.
Nailed it.
We did
We have to
Glass Blowing.
I have to blow
Blown away.
I have to look at the list. But yeah, we've done a lot recently.
Yeah.
So like we definitely need a break. So for the future, Who Put This On, we're definitely going to take a break.
Great. I'm really happy for us and our
Well, I mean,
listeners.
so a look behind the curtain. We were going to do a different show, and we were just having technical difficulties, and it wasn't a very happy show. So we just kind of
Yeah.
we audibled, but we might get back to that one.
We made it work.
Yeah. So Halloween Wars is a typical, almost cooking show, but not cooking. It's a
I would
people
say
are
cooking. Yeah.
It's more of a crafting.
We got to
than
get
cooking
into the
show.
minutia here, but like it's more of like a crafting show, yeah. Where it's a standard first challenge where they're given a short amount of time to do a smaller challenge. The winner gets an advantage in the second challenge. So the first challenge this week was to take like a scary stuffed animal, make a stuffed animal, make it scary. And then the second challenge was make a nightmare, somebody trapped in a nightmare. So, I guess the basic gist of this is instead of one person doing it, you have a group of 3, and one is a pumpkin artist,
Yeah.
a cake artist, and a sugar artist. So you have to incorporate all 3 because they're there. So like, you just kind of make art. Like it's not like no one's expected to eat any of this. So like, I mean, I don't even know if there's any real reason to go over more of like the standard structure of the show.
Nope.
You can probably just go over minutia. We can get right to the minutia on this one.
Let's get into minutia. So who were the hosts
I have no
and
idea.
the judges on the show?
I only know one judge.
So we got to talk about this host. The host is Jonathan Bennett.
JB.
Now, I went to the internet corner. Did anyone recognize Jonathan Bennett?
I did.
No.
Is he an NFL player?
He's not an NFL player.
He's the brother to Michael Bennett, the NFL player.
Max, what did you recognize about Mr. Jonathan Bennett? And did you need the internet corner to
No, I recognize him from the first second of Halloween Wars. I have no idea who this guy is.
All right. Max, does the name Aaron Samuels mean anything to you? Because we have seen Jonathan Bennett on something we did for the podcast before.
Aaron Samuels means nothing to me.
Okay. So Aaron Samuels is the love interest of one Lindsay Lohan in the movie Mean Girls.
Okay.
And Jonathan Bennett
Holy shit.
is Aaron Samuels.
Wow.
Holy shit.
Oh, deep cut. Deep
Okay.
cut.
Who's fallen further?
That's a good question. And according to the Internet Corner, Jonathan Bennett guest starred on an episode of Lindsay Lohan's Beach Club.
Holy shit.
So they're still friends.
Or MTV made it happen. Unclear. But
But Lindsay Lohan does not have a show anymore. Whereas Michael
no,
Bennett
that's
has
not
a
true.
show.
Lindsay
She also-
Lohan is on the Australian version of The Masked Singer
Holy
Oh.
shit.
As a-
Ooh.
as a judge.
Not bad.
But
What?
she also doesn't have a beach club anymore. It's been abandoned.
Yeah.
Definitely doesn't have a beach club anymore.
Anyways, speaking
right.
of Halloween,
Back to
So
back
yeah,
to
this
horrors.
guy Aaron Samuels hosted this show, and Jonathan Bennett is really going for it as the host of this show.
he's better than Mr. I don't know anything about glass blowing Nothingville man. But
I think this might be one of the better hosts that we've seen.
He's cringy.
I wouldn't say that.
He's cringy as shit, and I
Yeah.
don't like him, but I do appreciate that he tries.
I don't think he tried. He's very much playing the cringy, like, Food Network host. Like, he's playing the role.
I'm not saying he's good, guys. Calm down.
Who else?
I'm just saying we've seen a lot of nothing burgers and a lot of people detracting from shows. He's just there. He's fine. And for me, that might be not right for you guys, but I think he's fine.
It's true. He's not a nothing burger. He's going for it.
Yeah, I think he does okay.
I don't know about okay.
He doesn't have a whole lot to do either. So I'm not like,
We've had some good hosts on this show.
no. I mean,
Yeah.
we saw Making It, which has like the
Right.
best host we've seen in a long time. But like,
Right.
we've also had some really bad hosts. So like,
I think Mr.
He's definitely
Bennett,
not the worst host.
No, he's a Ryan Seacrest type character wannabe. Like, that's his dream. To get into the Ryan Seacrest realm, and he's just very far behind.
I don't think that you're on this show to be Ryan Seacrest.
No, but you got to start somewhere.
Yeah, this isn't the place to start.
People aren't
What
giving
do you
him
mean he
offers
started on
besides Lindsay
Mean
Lohan.
Girls? He started
No.
on Mean Girls. He didn't start here.
You start on like E News as an intern.
Yeah.
You can report about like the E-list celebrity.
And what do you do after that?
Then you get bumped up to the D-list celebrity.
At some
Then
point, Halloween Wars comes.
Then you switch to TMZ, and then you
You got on the Lindsay Lohan beat. You
Yeah.
worked that for a little bit.
All right. So let's go over the judges. There's two people. I could not tell you who the hell they are. And then there's Elvira,
Elvira.
which might be the worst part about this entire show.
Yeah, she
I-
kind of sucks.
tell me more.
She is awful. She just makes all these terrible jokes.
I love spiders in my bed. Haha.
It's so bad. We all looked at each other one time after a joke, like, get her off this show.
Yeah, I mean, I think if she was the host, and we had like just really small bite size of her, would be better, and then get a more qualified judge in. That'd be entertaining.
You mean, but at least this time she's only in this episode. She's the guest.
Oh,
judge.
that's good.
So she's not in other episodes. So that's the best case scenario.
What if she was the guest judge every episode? And we got our guest judge, Elvira.
That would be funny and torturous.
When is the last time you've thought of Elvira? Or Elvira has like been
Never.
in anything you've
Zero.
Definitely not never for me. I remember Elvira from like the 90s.
The only thing
Yeah.
I remember Elvira from was Tiny Toon Adventures.
I feel like we've seen Elvira on a show we've watched before. Am I crazy?
Oh, have we? We might have. Was she in what was that
Spooky
show?
House or
Scared
Halloween?
Famous? Was she in Scared Famous?
I don't
oh man,
think so, but maybe.
Maybe.
I have thought about Elvira definitely in the last 2 years.
All right. How old do you think Elvira is?
Hella old.
Rob.
I think she's in her 70s.
I went to the internet corner. I know the answer.
Me too. Yeah.
I have no idea.
I'm going to say she's 72.
68.
Whoa.
She looks pretty good for.
Oh,
60.
yeah.
No,
I
for
mean-
68, she's doing great.
Yeah.
Rob, can you tell me who the hell Elvira is and why do people know who she is?
Elvira was some kind of like radio host or host of some movie night or something who just dressed up in this spooky costume and somehow became
Mistress of the Night.
the late 80s, early 90s version of a meme that everyone knew who Elvira was, even though she's not really in anything. And somehow she's still relevant in 2019 on Halloween Wars.
Yeah, I guess I know she's not in a movie. She's not in like.
She was in some movie. She's been in she's in random things, but like those things like as soon as I saw her, I'm like, oh, Elvira, and you're like, what have you seen Elvira in? I'm like, I don't know, but I know who Elvira is.
She's definitely in random things, right? Like if you were to put together some kind of like show, TV, commercial, whatever, and you're like, we want someone who's like a woman in horror and Halloween, like there's not that many people to choose from, right? She has her niche.
Damn,
I
now
mean, I
I'm
get it.
wondering.
That's why I asked. Like because like as I said, the only thing I can remember Elvira from is Tiny Toon Adventures because they were making fun of her
yeah,
in Tiny Toon Adventures. But like, I had no context as a kid who the hell that was.
Tiny Toon Adventures era is like peak Elvira.
Yeah, that makes sense. Although I gotta say, she's at 68. You know, this is peak opportunity for someone to kind of fill in for for her in her shoes.
Brian, do
I
you
thought you were
think
gonna say reboot,
No, it's like the
like bring her back in a
the
movie.
2020 version of Elvira.
Noah,
Noah.
what if you were the 2020 version of Elvira?
That sounds like an amazing life.
You should do it.
I gotta say.
all right,
Just
all right.
roll just roll into work.
We're moving past this.
Yeah.
No, one quick thing. Brian, what do you think the odds are Elvira's on The Masked Singer this year?
Oh damn it!
It,
It
now
could
that
definitely be
now that
happening.
Elvira is back is a thing, I'm like it could happen.
Has anybody done a Halloween song yet?
No,
Not yet.
But like,
Halloween's coming up.
but there is one character, the Black Widow.
The Black Widow.
Damn it!
All right, let's get back to the show. I know we don't really want to talk about it, but let's get back to it. If you can't tell.
All right, so we had two judges, and aside Elvira.
One has actually been like a makeup artist on a decent number of movies, but he was the funny thing is he was billed as makeup artist / director,
Oh yeah, yeah. I
and
forgot
he's
about
like
that.
according to IMDb, he's directed like 2 like direct-to-video level like Halloween movies.
He's a director.
But like he's legitimately been the makeup artist on like real movies. So it's like they could have just been like he's a famous makeup artist. I feel like it would have been more legit than trying to like also say he's a director. But anyway.
Maybe he probably gets some creative decision in what they say.
I mean, I'm sure he does.
So like he wants to be a director. You gotta direct good movies for that to happen.
That's actually probably how that happened.
What was the other woman?
She was a cake artist, I think.
Yeah,
artist,
yeah. No,
okay.
she was a professional cake artist.
She was the only one like actually critiquing the food.
Right. She's
We'll get
she's
into
the
that.
most qualified. Like Elvira's 0% qualified. Makeup artist guy like 20% qualified. This person actually qualified.
100% qualified. So the first challenge here. So they have to make this teddy bear thing.
Stuffed animal.
Stuffed animal thing. So I've got what they were. Somebody made a dog.
Yep.
Then there were 2 teddy bears. Then there was a double unicorn. And then there was a giraffe. And then there was an evil unicorn.
That's correct.
And the teddy bear, the one teddy bear was really good.
Oh yeah.
This is the one that won. It had like it had like a spinning like belly button and like glowing eyes.
Lollipop.
And it was like really like they had like sprinkled sugar on it that made it like a good texture and actually made it look like a teddy bear. Meanwhile, like the evil unicorn was just like it looked like a unicorn statue that didn't look like a stuffed animal and didn't look necessarily evil. It was just like
Boring.
you made a unicorn. Yeah,
Yep.
I'll give you
Yeah.
that. Like, it wasn't like bad. Like say the dog
Yeah.
or was it I think the dog,
The dog.
looked
Yeah.
awful.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
that unicorn got the worst comment of all. It got, oh yeah, I like that it was purple. Good try.
Yeah.
Good try.
From Elvira.
Something I liked during this challenge is somebody to make something look like a stuffed animal. They just replaced the eyes with buttons, which was like a very cheap, very easy, good way to make it look like a stuffed animal.
It's true.
I do kind of enjoy the setup of these are teams, and every team has a
Specialist.
specialist. And the same specialist of you need a cake artist, you need a sugar candy specialist, and you need a pumpkin carver. Like
Yep.
pumpkin carver
Dedicated carver.
is like a theme you see, and they're like, okay, what are we going to use pumpkins for? What are we going to build a cake? What are we going to build a sugar? Like, I kind of thought that was an interesting
Yeah, yeah.
way to kind of like set up the thing.
We rarely see something like that, I feel.
right.
So on that, highly doubt there are many trios naturally roaming the
Oh, no.
world.
These guys don't know each other.
They don't know each other.
Especially when we'll get into in the second challenge. Like, there's definitely a thing of like, it sounds like these people don't know who the hell each other is.
Right. They really don't know. So how do you think that matchmaking process goes down?
They put it in Excel and hit random.
Like, Noah, you as a professional sugar artist apply to Halloween Wars, and when you get in, Halloween Wars pairs you with two randos that you're like, here's your team.
That's it.
That I think that's what it is.
I think it's a producers pick the teams.
Right.
Like it's not like there's no rocket science here.
It would be
There's-
better. It would be better if it was Amazing Race style, where there actually were like pre-existing teams of these people. But like, there's not enough roving teams of pumpkin cake sugar experts going around to make this work.
Right.
So on this note, if you've listened to this show before, any of our baking or cooking shows, my biggest complaint is generally like, what level of artists are these? Like between like bottom level cookers to like high level cookers, and like from this one, it's like, are these the top pumpkin carvers in the world? Like, are these like top level pumpkin carvers? Because what other things are pumpkin carvers doing? And like sugar artists, like, are these the best sugar artists? Like, what level of like talent are we talking about?
I will say, like, they showed some pictures of what people had done previously off the show, and like a lot of this was like, oh, these are not idiots. They kind of know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Agree.
It's hard to tell because they give these people like no time to do things, especially if the first challenge was like
Yeah.
an hour or
Yeah.
something. So it's like, oh, it's some of these things look fantastic for how much time they had. And the like level of talent, like, I don't know what other show you're going on, what else you're doing to like that you would be making enough money. That this doesn't seem like a very reasonable thing for a top pumpkin carver to do in like April.
So if you're a pumpkin carver, is that your only thing, or are you a carver of many mediums? And like in October, you go big on pumpkin carver, but then in April, you're carving something else.
I mean,
Eggplants.
you can't carve pumpkins all year, so like,
Well, that's my point. Like, what do you do in the rest of the year when you're a top notch pumpkin carver?
Squashes.
Squash. is
Like, you could carve wood, right? Or you just, in the
How
winter.
similar is carving wood to carving pumpkin?
I feel like there's
I don't know.
nothing quite like the flesh of a pumpkin.
But it's got to be similar, right? Like, it's more of, are you able to, like, get into the material? Like, yes, the skin, like, the flesh
Yeah,
is
yeah,
softer, right? Or they just go between the North Hemisphere and South Hemisphere,
I feel like it's just a hobby for a lot of people. They're just like, oh, we're pumpkin carving this year around this time, and like the rest of the year, they're just doing their normal jobs.
It must be nice to like do Halloween in the southern hemisphere and it's just beautiful outside.
One of the crazy things.
Thank you
Love
for
it.
moving on, Brian.
Love it, Brian.
One of the craziest things to me is like, so on Fortune Fire, like you'll draw out like your knife like beforehand your design. It didn't seem like there was any planning for this, and like these things are huge, and I don't know how they're bringing it together with 3 people.
There definitely seemed to be a planning thing, and they just didn't show any of it.
Yeah.
Well, for all
yeah.
of them, they showed a drawing of the thing,
For the
but
second
it was
challenge,
unclear.
no, both.
It was unclear if this drawing was actually something that the contestants made, or if the producers, after the fact, were like, "Let's put up a drawing of what it's going to look like."
That was a major knock on this. Like, the drawings they showed were, like, pretty detailed, and they just totally skipped over it. But to be able to coordinate and actually plan out like how many pieces of things you need, like no way that's the chance.
Yeah.
Right. So that has to be a huge component that they totally just they probably taped it. And it's like, man, that's really boring to watch, and just skipped it.
I don't know. 9 seasons. You think you know what you want to like film and not film, what show and not show.
That's true. Then
Yeah.
maybe they just don't film it, right?
It's just like that was the weirdest thing is like they show the challenge and they immediately just show them start working on something, and these 3 people need to coordinate. Like I have like no idea. Like especially the second challenge, they're like, yeah, we're gonna do this, but there's no explanation of like, hey, what I'm gonna do, what are you gonna do, what are you gonna do, what, like how are we gonna pull this thing together? Who came up with these ideas?
And there's something I want to add to that is so the winner from the first challenge gets a bonus. And the bonus is everyone gets like an assistant to help them for the second challenge, but the winner gets 2 assistants. And then we did not see those assistants again, and we have no idea what the assistants are actually doing. It's like, tell me how the assistant's helpful. Like, oh, because we have 2, we're gonna have this person do this person do that. Like, that was just such a missed opportunity to let us know what was going on with this whole challenge.
Rob, the thing is you're not actually supposed to pay attention to this show.
What?
Yeah.
You're just supposed to like, oh, that's cool, and then just kind of go back to playing video games on your iPad.
I'm pretty sure you're supposed to be browsing Pinterest while watching the show.
Oh hell yeah.
What if I'm taking notes prepare for my podcast?
Minority, but yes. Yeah.
Hyper minority. I think there's only 4.
Actually, so one thing I found incredibly impressive were the sugar artists.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Those
They
tongues,
showed up.
man.
Yeah.
All the sugar artists did a really good job.
Yeah.
It's almost like glass blowing.
The pumpkin artists were 50-50, and some of the cake people, definitely some weak links in these teams for sure.
Yep.
Mainly like in the first challenge, the dog, which ends up being the loser of the second challenge too. But they put too much like chocolate in the face, so the face just slid down and it just looked awful. And they got like some of the most popular comments. I'm like, really? This is the person you're gonna comment this way?
Well, the face slid down, but it actually it gave like this creepy look to the dog, where it kind of looked like a hunchback of Notre Dog type of thing.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Like,
I mean, maybe
it
it's
works
just because-
given the theme of the show.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just because we knew the face fell. Like if we just saw it, we'd be like, oh, that looks kind of good. But when we see, oh, that dog's face just fell halfway down, they were like, yeah, that does not look right. I guess after the first challenge, we get to the second challenge here. So I'll give out what the 6 things were. There was a room with a monster under the bed. There was an alien next to a bed. There was a swamp monster scene. There was a giant spider over the bed. There was a little girl with hands and spirals. The spiral.
Yep.
And there's an alien pod scene.
Yep.
And then I guess we'll get into the special thing that they had to do in a bit. But let's talk about these. I don't know.
So the theme was like waking up from a nightmare, right? That's why there's a lot of
No,
beds.
being trapped in a nightmare.
Trapped in a nightmare. Thank you.
So like the bed seems like a theme because it is the theme, kind of.
right.
So, some of these were actually really good. So the winner was the monster under the bed team. No, was it the monster under the
No,
bed
it
team?
was the mom who's a monster.
And there's also a monster under the bed.
yeah,
you're both right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I was confused. Like,
Yeah.
I was
You're
like-
right.
I remember the mom thing, and I was like, wait, I didn't write down the mom thing, but I'm like, maybe I did.
No, you're right. You're right. Yeah.
Where like the pumpkin was really good,
Yeah.
and like the faces of the actual people were fantastic.
Yeah.
Whereas
The
it-
demon mom face was something else.
Like the proportions were off, and they're like, really, that's the negative thing you're gonna say about this group. So like they won,
Yeah.
so they definitely deserved it. Then there was like
Did they get a prize for winning, or is it just like you won, great job, on to the next one?
calm yourself down. You won, but
Okay.
good luck
Yeah,
next
that's
week.
what it seemed like. But who knows?
Yeah, they didn't really say anything. There was like alien next to a bed, and they was like covered in like alien saliva. The like kid was, and it was meh. I thought the like alien looked meh, and the like pumpkin face was just off.
That the pumpkin face on the kid and the way the alien looked did not mesh very well. I can't
No.
explain it, but it definitely looked weird.
It was really off. Like the alien, actually, I thought came out pretty good.
Yeah,
But I didn't even realize there was a kid in bed. It looked like an old man who just shit his pants in bed.
It did look it did look older than a kid for sure.
So then the swamp monster scene. So halfway through the competition, the like sugar artist just like leaves.
Yeah,
Was it-
she was like sick or something.
Yeah, I
So
mean, like,
the cake artist is given like a million confessionals that are exactly the same of like, yeah, our sugar artist is not feeling their best. I don't know what's going on. Oh, our sugar artist is not feeling their best. There might not be, not working. And then it just basically came down to the two of them. And this is what really cemented me of these people don't know each other, because she wasn't like, oh, my friend is really sick. This person, it was like, this rando fucker is just like,
she's ruining.
she's screwing up our team because she's just not getting it done.
She's ruining my chance for $50,000 or a percentage of $50,000. Unclear.
Yeah.
It's really $12,000. It's $50,000 split 3 ways with taxes.
But we don't know that. They just said, well, I mean, the people said 50,000. I have to assume it's split between the three of them, but
It's definitely split between the three of them.
also
Because the show would want to be like, we're giving out $150,000.
Exactly.
That's fair. That's fair. Brian also said after the first confessional, like, hey, how much you want to bet they don't bring up this person sick again? And I was like, yeah, they're definitely bringing that up again. And then she just leaves.
Yeah, but she got the most FaceTime. The woman doing the confessional. The producers love her.
The cake artist who had their sugar artist leave was definitely had a ton of confessionals. So all their confessionals were the same of, so and so got sick and
Yeah. But like their scene turned out really well. At the end, they even did like, they had to fill the swamp in with sugar and they did it themselves without the sugar artist. So like,
so the thing of like the judges were able to see that the pumpkin guy was pouring the sugar.
yeah.
And I wonder if like if a sugar artist had done it, they'd be like, oh, the way the sugar's poured is just not getting it done. But they were there for like, I can't believe you were pouring the sugar.
Oh, yeah.
That's so great.
I mean, otherwise, I think their scene was fine. I think that they're like attention to detail about like actually showing the details of their stuff was a little off. Like, cause they had like the girl looking the wrong way and all the monsters looking at the girl, which is in the scene. So it didn't really work out that well.
I think theirs actually wasn't that good, but it was like, are they going to penalize they lost a person, or are they going to get, oh, you did it without a person? Good job, guys.
Well, there's two ways to do that. There's like, hey, you're the easy one to kick off because you didn't do that well. Sorry, not sorry that you lost somebody. Or like, oh, you didn't have somebody, so I guess we'll keep you on.
right.
I don't think theirs was the worst though.
We have to get into the worst one. I guess we've got to talk about this one now. The like,
Wait.
We get into it, or we saving it for the end?
So for that team, episode 2, does the sugar artist who gets sick come back to the team, or they're like, fuck you, you're gone, plan B?
She's back.
I think she's either back or they have a new sugar artist.
Or they bring the sugar artist from the team that was fired.
Oh.
That would be cool.
Or Elvira's now their sugar artist.
Oh. All right. Well, let's do the worst one last, I think, because,
Sure.
we have the next one I have written down is the giant spider over the bed.
That one was pretty good.
That one I thought was the best one.
Amazing.
That one looked really good.
It was technically impressive. It wasn't that creative, and that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, like, there was just they like elevated this spider with like there was like a 2 pumpkin sized spider over this bed, and they like covered this bed with like little wisps of sugar that made it look like spider's web, and like the face looked really scared looking right at the spider. It was definitely like what I felt like a real scene was.
Right.
Whereas like most of the other ones were like, yeah, whatever.
The other ones were a bunch of random elements in the thing. This one felt like a cohesive presentation.
Yeah, they had like a very good theme. It all came together. The pumpkin didn't look really out of place or weird, and the cake and all the like everything just worked well together.
Yeah.
Unlike even the one that won, I feel like not all the pieces fit well together.
Right.
So that's why I think this one was the best. But this was in the top 2. So the top 2 out of 6. So we had to talk about the top 2 and the bottom 2. And then the other scene was an alien pod scene where they were like literally in outer space with a little girl in like a Dragon Ball Z pod
Yep.
and with an alien over it. And like the alien was just meh, but like the background and like scenery of this alien world was kind of cool. That's what I like the most out of it. But they had like the pumpkin was made out of the pod was made out of a pumpkin. The girl was made out of a pumpkin. They put inside the pumpkin. So I like the ingenuity on that one.
Sure.
But otherwise, it was fine.
And they had the coolest thing. They used reverse magnets to have floating crystals. Pretty clever.
Yep.
The judges kept yelling at them. They're like, "Why'd you spend so much time on details of like rocks and stuff?"
Yeah, the judges didn't like that.
It was like, why'd you spend it on stuff we can't see? Fucking get up.
yeah.
Stand
It's a
up.
diorama. Like you can't just like people can look at it from different angles.
Yeah.
Boo the judges.
Boo. And then the loser of the group here was like this hands and like this girl in bed next to a vortex. And like the real thing was that the girl looked so bad.
So
you just looked at it, you just laughed.
I'm laughing thinking of it.
It's so bad.
Like
It is. We will probably make it the cover of this pod.
maybe we'll see.
I mean, there's a lot of contenders for the cover of the pod.
But like at some point I was telling Brian, like, that's the only one you look at and you just laugh. The other
Yeah.
ones are just like, they can be whatever. But this one you laugh at, you can't win a Halloween competition when I laugh at it.
Also, there's like some swirl behind her that is really loud and takes your attention away from her.
There was also like a unicorn poster like on the wall. It was like, and the like spiral thing was so bad.
The vortex did not look that great.
No, this was awful. Not to mention the face. The real face of this girl was like the worst.
The face is what really sells the joke.
Like the eyes are different sizes. One was drooping. Like this cake artist at some point had a confessional that they were like, "Yeah, I'm 18 years old. I've been watching the show, so I wanted to be on the show." And I'm like, "Came on the show way too early. Not good enough."
But I gotta give that kid credit. 18 years old, putting himself out there, and like, yeah, compared to the other artists, not so great. But to actually be able to execute a project end to end, 18, major kudos.
I mean, he screwed up both projects.
But it's only
not-
compared to professionals. Like he was actually able to execute one and stand something up. That's pretty good.
I mean, I feel bad for the pumpkin artist in this scene because the pumpkin artist made these hands that looked awesome. They looked really good. And like, it's a team effort, but he got stuck with the worst cake artist.
Yeah.
So like that's unfortunate.
And what was that secret ingredient?
Oh yeah.
Chamomile?
They kept
Chamomile?
saying it weird.
Chris, tell me more about the chamomile.
Chamomile?
Chamomile.
So, along with the 6 scenes, they had to make an edible treat.
Oh yeah.
And the secret ingredient for this
Wait.
treat
You're supposed to eat stuff on this show?
was a chamomile.
It's on the Food Network. You got to eat something.
It's true. It's just like when it's on history, it has some history in it. So this has to have some
That
food.
has been disproven.
Yeah, like ancient aliens.
Yeah, they're ancient. They're
There was definitely no history on Truck Night in America, which was on History Channel.
but for the longest time, there had to be some sort of history on the History Channel show.
Yes.
Somehow it always connected back to the Nazis.
Yeah. So they had to make some. I don't understand whose job it was to make these treats. Was it like the bakers, the like cake people's jobs, or like is it just somebody on the team just gets assigned to do it? Like
I feel like the pumpkin carver's out.
Right.
Between the cake maker and the sugar
Sugar
candy
maker.
expert, they come up with a plan of who does what, or is it a team effort kind of thing.
They say, "Hey, who's good at this? Who wants to do this?" Great.
Yeah.
Because I think some were more cakey and some were more candy-y, so I think on each team it was slightly different.
Yep.
I do not understand having chamomile as a taste flavor for a treat. I don't get it. I don't
No.
want that. I don't want it. No thanks.
It match like what Max brought up. Like you drink chamomile tea before going to bed, helps you go to sleep. They didn't explain on the show, which is a big miss. They just said, "Do something with chamomile," but like I think that is the inferred relationship.
What do you think? Just the audience of Food Network knows what chamomile is. I feel like that's probably pretty high power.
I could see a lot of people watching the Food Network drinking chamomile tea.
That's a fair point.
Got to know your audience, Noah.
Yeah.
Easily the best part was only one person could really be heard saying chamomile, and it's because she said it like chamomile, and they just kept bringing it back. Great cuts.
Yeah,
Nice.
it was like the one judge, the only qualified judge was the one actually judging the treats, the chamomile treats. I don't really have anything else to say about the chamomile treats.
Did it seem like the chamomile treats had any sway on who they picked to win or not, or was it irrelevant?
Not at all.
I don't think so.
Got it.
So like they get it to the like last commercial break, and like after we've seen all 6 scenes, the judges go through and say like we see the scenes and they like say the same things again. It was really weird to me. Does anyone get to that, or is that just me?
It's the one point where they were kind of starting to get a little repetitive. Like
It's
we
worth
talked about this show just like kind of got into things and didn't explain anything, but like the show is moving pretty good. Like they're not recapping, they're not wasting our time with a bunch of nonsense.
The
It
show,
is worth noting that episode 1 is 22 minutes longer than everything else. Isn't
Was it?
no,
I mean, I think
mean,
of the other
you're
show.
thinking
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
other show.
There was
My
another
bad.
Celebrity Rehab.
Whoa, whoa, whoa!
Whoa.
We didn't mention
Bleep
what
it
the other
out.
show was. Now we got to
That's
edit
fine.
that out.
Noah's letting us behind the curtain.
Yeah. So this is one of those classic shows here where they've start out with 6 teams, and at the end there's going to be 2. So like 6 teams, the show is moving. You're not seeing a lot of what people are doing, but when there's 2 teams,
Do you think
how
it
does
goes
the show
down to
work?
2, or do you think it goes down to a final 3?
I don't know.
It's a 4-episode season.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Welcome
all
to
the
Halloween,
month of
Brian.
October.
Well,
Actually, that's
1v1
true. Yeah.
is boring.
Remember when we watched Scared Famous and it went from like October to like January? And you're like, why is the show still on?
Well, what they could do, they could start breaking apart the teams, right? So let's say you get down like to the last 2 teams, and you're like, oh, sugar artists connect, cake artists connect, pumpkin artists connect, battle off.
I don't know. Like I feel
Ooh.
like the premise of it is dependent on you having these different elements to create one whole. I don't know if a pumpkin carver doing a challenge against a cake person, I don't know if that actually works.
Well, you start doing the battle of the media. I mean, it's the setup is a lot more difficult, right? To your point,
Right.
Yeah.
Like you have to construct a challenge where it's equally likely a pumpkin artist or a cake artist could win. I feel like that's unlikely.
Super tough.
That would solve my discrepancy with the $50,000 though,
That
because they
would.
said that they would, like they're giving away 50,000, but people say they want to win the 50,000. But if they're splitting the
mean-
50,000, then they're not winning the 50,000.
It's like Are You the One, where they'd want to win the $1 million that's getting split like 20 ways.
But that seems like that's still a lot more money than 50,000 split 3 ways.
I mean, it is, but yeah, they're giving away 50,000
yeah. Okay. Yeah, I know. But is it to 3 people, 1 person?
to 3 people. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure. Unless you get sick, then maybe you get cut.
I don't. They need a sugar artist in the next episode.
Then Elvira takes your money.
Yeah.
Oh no. We should not be paying her anything.
They definitely paid her something.
Oh yeah.
Maybe she's just on the show for publicity.
No.
For the reboot.
I think she's done. Is Elvira coming to Disney Plus?
Maybe. One of those crazy, really dumb movies that they announced could have Elvira in it. Are we ready for ratings? Any minutia people they want to bring up?
I got nothing else for you. I'm sorry, Chris.
All right, Rob, give it to me. What do you got?
I'm gonna throw this guy in the middle. I feel like it wasn't. I was, it moved. I was able to follow it. It didn't like totally lose my interest, but definitely wasn't great. So I'm gonna stick it right in the middle.
All right, Max, what do you got?
Middle third, bottom of the middle. I would probably be nicer to the show if I hadn't just watched 5 shows exactly like it. Yeah.
All right, Noah, what do you got?
I want to put it in the middle. I just don't think I can. So I'm going to put it in
the
the bottom.
top.
What?
I'm kidding.
He said in the top.
So it's going in the bottom, but top of the bottom. I do like the Halloween specialty of it. I think that's fun, but the show is just pretty poorly executed. Despite not having recaps, and I love shows that do not have recaps, but I think the host can be improved, the judges can be improved, the people they bring on can be improved, the detail they show in making the things can be improved. So yeah, putting in the bottom, but top of the bottom for potential.
All right, Brian, what do you got?
Bottom and middle. I got nothing else. Everybody else has said it all.
I really struggled where to put this show. It's either bottom or middle. Like it
You might have to
wasn't-
use James' rating.
I might have to be honest with you. It is like entertaining, but it is not my favorite format, and it is not like I can't imagine once you start losing people, this show gets any better. It feels like it would get worse because there's no personalities to really display here. But I guess on this episode alone, I would put it in the middle third.
Okay. Question for everyone. Halloween, what's your rating? It's going to be a top third for me. Like top of the top.
Wait, The Holiday, the movie?
The holiday, yeah.
The movie,
Like-
the holiday movie.
As a Halloween.
Halloween
judge.
as a holiday, what's your rating?
Oh.
I mean, it's a holiday you don't get off work, so that might bump
sure,
to the middle.
Sure.
It is definitely not a top Halloween holiday. I'd say middle.
Okay.
Like I just got off for Columbus Indigenous Genocide Day,
Sure.
and then that gets in the middle because I got the day off.
Chris, I thought you were going to say Canadian Thanksgiving. What happened?
/ Canadian Thanksgiving,
Man.
or is it just Thanksgiving 1 and Thanksgiving the sequel's coming up?
Yeah.
But people wouldn't get it, so
Halloween's definitely a top. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
It's so much fun.
Yeah, like it is a universally quote unquote America accepted holiday to everyone goes out, gets candy, people dress up, especially in college, people wear really interesting costumes.
Interesting is the word you were going to use. Got it.
is
Sure.
that what
Hey,
you were trying
you
to
know,
say?
like in New York, there's the Halloween parade, which I think is actually the most fun day in New York City. Yeah, I actually think that's like it's not partisan. No one's talking about like the Republicans or the Democrats are trying to kill Halloween. Like everyone agrees on Halloween, I guess, except people that don't. But let's not talk about them. So everyone loves Halloween.
Did Noah really just do everyone loves Halloween except the people that don't?
I mean, those people barely exist.
They don't listen to podcasts.
Noah, Halloween versus Springween. What's your verdict?
I'm gonna refrain from answering to not upset some of our listeners.
I thought it was non-political. You could say what you wanted with Halloween. What's going on?
This
Wow.
isn't about politics. This is about relationships.
Yeah. I don't know, dude. You don't get the day off. I think Rob's right. If you don't get the day off, I don't think you could be top third holiday.
That's
Wait.
such an adult thing.
Yeah.
In the southern hemisphere, is Springween just Halloween?
Correct.
Mind blown.
Okay, so question. Like, even at work, like, you're probably going to have a Halloween party, though. That's kind of like having the day off. You're just having fun.
I mean, it's better than a normal work day, but it's more fun to just not go to work.
I don't know. I mean, yes, like, other holidays, like Christmas, like, I wouldn't be having, like, as much of a party for that, though.
Brian, you just love going to work, don't you?
No.
He just had a whole ton of time off, so I don't think he's the right person to like ask.
If you did yoga all day at work, you might like going to work too.
Speaking of costumes,
Ooh.
Rob, give us that update we've been looking for.
So we got to check in on the Masked Singer.
Oh yeah,
So I'll try to keep it quick. Just a couple quick updates. So one is this week we were introduced to the Flower, and the Flower
Introduced.
is a strong contender. I think the Flower is in the mold of the Bee last year, which turned to be Gladys Knight, of an older artist who's definitely a real singer. And I don't know if I've talked about this on the show, but there's definitely a code on the Masked Singer when the judges talk about. I heard a lot of soul in that voice.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
They're there's that means something.
What does it mean?
You know what it means.
No.
these are gonna go far.
Yeah. So
That's what that means?
The Flower, I think, is the favorite so far, but we'll see. How
But
it
who
goes.
is the Flower?
I don't know. I don't know the Flowers yet.
The one thing I don't like about the Masked Singer, maybe it's getting better, that if it is a recognizable singer, how come their voice is not recognizable?
Well, you only get a little glimpse of it, so you gotta think it through. Like you gotta feel, but like by the end, you figure it out.
So, without spoiling who won the last season, their voice is normally masked in some way. Haha, masked.
Good job, Max.
Okay.
So-
Wait, but what do you mean? Not
But you
spoiling
mentioned
it?
Gladys Knight.
Yeah.
Like
all
Gladys
know?
Knight.
This person,
No, Max, we're just gonna spoil it. So the
T-Pain.
winner,
T-Pain.
yeah, T-Pain
Yeah.
won season 1 of The Masked Singer, and Max is trying to obliquely refer to T-Pain using autotune.
You have no idea what T-Pain sounds like normally.
Right, except for the NPR thing.
Right, except for the NPR Tiny Desk.
Yeah.
Yes.
But Gladys Knight is a singer.
Yes.
Right.
So like,
That's what I mean, right? Like,
why didn't you recognize
Yeah.
Gladys Knight's voice?
I mean, by the end, it was the Gladys Knight was all the judges knew it was Gladys Knight by the end.
But did you know?
I went with someone else. Emmy knew.
Okay.
So my second thought was I'm a little disappointed with the masks this year because they went more for cute kind of masks and not enough for the bizarre post-apocalyptic nightmare kind of masks, and that's what I want. And the Flower is kind of creepy looking, so I'm into the Flower for that. But I was like, they're like then the monster was kind of cute. I feel people are trying to go that route, but like I wanted more like horrific masks going on. Like this is not what I signed up for.
So are you gonna go as a masked singer for Halloween?
Oh, that's an interesting idea. It's tough to get. That's a costume that needs some effort, though. It's not an easy costume to put.
Is that a
You can just be Egg.
egg.
her?
I mean, if I get
That joke never gets old.
if I can get the T-Pain monster costume, that'd be pretty.
Like,
good.
is that something you can go online and buy? Is that
Or the
like
I'll check and find out. Or it could be the peacock. That'd be pretty good. And the third, we got to talk about the bald eagle. So the bald eagle was a new one, and bald eagle is interesting because it definitely didn't sound like a professional singer, though he wasn't terrible. And but like he had a lot of personality with the way, and like he was kind of trying to show up the judges with his body language, which they definitely appreciated. But he seemed kind of funny. And his clue package, they talked about that he listened to other people's stories. There was a lot of talk of he might be a talk show host, but the bald eagle lost this week. So the bald eagle got unmasked. So there was guesses that the bald eagle was Howard Stern, which I was like, no way Howard Stern's going to the Masked Singer. Guesses that bald eagle was Craig Ferguson. Turned out bald eagle was
Dave?
Dr. Drew, host of Celebrity Rehab and other various things.
Okay.
I see. Yeah.
And apparently Ken Jeong has guest hosted Dr. Drew's radio show. So he was all like, Ken, how come you didn't know it was me?
The
Which
same
I-
thing happened last season too.
Yeah, Ken Jeong definitely doesn't recognize the people he should recognize. But yeah.
It's kind of upsetting on Fox.com, like on the show, the website for the show. You can't see all the characters. Like you would think that would be like an easy thing. It's like the bird, the egg, the flower, whatever. Like
Well, there's lots of birds.
I'm sure you can find other websites.
the bird,
yeah, I know, but
bird.
you think Fox.com
Bird
got
is the
that
word.
nailed in, right? Like how come they don't got that shit?
the pigeon.
Shame on Fox.
So have you met all the people now?
We've met all the people now. So I'm curious, are they going to change up the format? Are they going to keep the 4-person brackets going and just reseed how people are going? Because there's 12. So you could do the next 3 episodes could still be 4-person brackets kicking out 1 person. So we'll see.
You'll have to keep us informed.
I'll keep you posted.
Survivor this season still is pretty good. There's been 4 out of 4 blindsides.
Ooh.
Like every they're not playing this kick out the obvious person anymore.
Oh.
Or at least this last episode was definitely like the obvious person didn't know they were the obvious person. So or didn't think they were the obvious person. So he was blindsided. But so far so good. I like the gimmick this year is not bad, but not necessarily great either.
What is it?
So they have like 2 Survivor celebrities that have one Survivor.
Is it Chris?
Our favorite fan, Chris.
No. They like give Survivor lessons to like one-on-one to people. So like each week, one person from one tribe goes and gets like a Survivor lesson.
Okay.
And it's kind of like cool because like the audience member also gets the lesson of like kind of like, oh, this is important to Survivor. So like it's more of like a meta thing than actually changing the game because it doesn't really change the game all that much other than like somebody gets a chance to win an idol.
So last time you gave an update, which I don't think was last week, there was talk of the person went and met the experts and then came back and was like, oh, no. Does everyone now know the experts are there, or is everyone keeping up the charade?
So, I did bring that up. And then the second person said the same thing.
Oh.
So I'm like, there's no way both of them, because they came from different tribes, they didn't talk to each other. There's no way that they came up with the same story. So they must be told to say that.
Ah.
It's also kind of interesting because the 2 Survivor idols or champions or whatever are like watching the final.
The live feed?
No, they're not watching the live feed. They're watching the vote off ceremony. So they're like they know like all the drama that's happening
Are they like there and everyone knows they're there?
No,
Okay.
they're hidden behind. They're hidden in some things. So
They're hidden in some kind of idol?
I don't know what they're hidden inside of, but that would be good. There's definitely like when you go to this island of the idols, there's this giant like mock-up of the 2 of them. There's like they're like giant like face profiles.
Is it made out of pumpkin or cake?
I think it's made out of sugar.
Oh.
It's very tasty. There's a lot of bugs around it at this point. But yeah, it's still continuing to be, I think, my favorite reality show so far. I think it's like
Nice.
Queer Eye has fallen off a little bit and Survivor keeps going.
Oh, shots at Queer Eye.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't finished the season of Queer Eye, but like it isn't. They've chosen some very poor people to be their like makeovers.
Man.
It's not that guy with the redneck margaritas anymore.
No, like the first season was like wholesome, like people that really needed help. This season's like, you're a vet and you need help because you're a vet, and like he's like mostly okay, but it's just like they're like choosing like politically like minded people that are just like, you're just not as interesting as just like regular people. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, anyone else got any other updates you want to?
Yeah, Ballers series finale wrapped up. I'm not going to give any spoilers away, but I think it's thinking of the show end to end, really well done, and it went out on a high note. Really, congrats to everyone who made that show. It's excellent.
All our listeners that made that show, you did a really good job.
Good job, Rock.
So is The Rock now going to be in more movies because he doesn't have this TV show to go over? Or is
Because
he-
he's not in enough.
No, he's making another season of The Hero.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
There's no way.
If he does see The Hero, we might have to turn this into we're going to do every episode of The Hero pod. But
What about the Titan games? Is he doing another season?
that's
of that?
definitely coming back.
Is it coming back?
For sure.
Okay.
The Rock does everything. He's everywhere.
I heard, I haven't watched Ballers in a while. I was listening to a different podcast that said in the latest season of Ballers, The Rock, almost every scene he's in, he's just like in his car on the phone. And they're like, he didn't have time to do this season. So they're just like, yeah, okay, one day I'm going to come, I'll be in my car, and then we'll just film a bunch of episodes.
That's kind of funny.
Noah, does that align with what you've observed?
He's in the car a lot, but not enough where that's like funny
He
enough.
needs to be more in
It's a very
cars.
clever hot take, but he's this main star. He's everywhere.
Got it.
The Righteous Gemstones also had their season finale this week. Have you been watching that, Noah?
I have. I'm not caught up. I'm probably like 2 or 3 episodes behind.
Okay. I mean, I talked about it last time, so I won't really.
Yeah, I mean, but the show's great. I'm excited they're doing it. I'm excited for next season.
Anyone else got any updates, or we good? We done? All right. Well, you can find us on Twitter at @WhoPutThisOn. You can find us on Facebook.com/WhoPutThisOn. You can email us questions and suggestions at WhoPutThisOn@gmail.com. And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye bye.